You'll find the show notes at authenticgermanlearning.com/episode 0 extremely helpful.
Improve your German, improve your life. Let's dive in. Hello, dear German learners, fellow pupils, and lovers of life. I'm Marco, and you are listening to the Authentic German Learning Podcast, episode 0. In this episode, you'll find out who I am, what this podcast is about, and how it can help you learn German and get inspired at the same time. How this podcast will help you learn German. This is one of the few episodes I will be doing in English. The others will be mostly in German. But don't despair, I will write a partial script and extensive show notes for every episode. I will not write a whole script because I want you to practice your listening comprehension. Besides, you probably want to listen to this podcast on the go and not read all the time. When there is no script, you will instead have bullet points, so you know roughly what I am talking about. You can always get the show notes at authenticgermanlearning.com, then a slash and then the word episode, lowercase, and the number of the episode. So for this episode, that would be authenticgermanlearning.com/episode 0. You will find that the longer you listen to this podcast, the less you need the show notes. You will be amazed how much German you will be able to understand in just a couple of weeks or even days. Just keep listening and immerse yourself in the language, even if you don't always understand 100%. You should be able to understand some German. If you are a complete beginner, this podcast is not for you. Go to authenticgermanlearning.com/free to subscribe to the emails instead. Many people, not just beginners, have told me my emails help them very much. What is this podcast about? In this podcast, I will present language learning tips and tricks. I will talk about the German culture. I will share what I learned from the world of personal development and much more. Who am I? I am Marco, a philosophical mentor to German learners and hungry life lovers. I created the AGL YouTube channel, Academy, audio blog, and now the podcast. I love personal development, philosophy, improving my productivity, and language learning. My story. I created this podcast because I'm passionate about inspiring German learners who love life and want to improve it. I want to help you overcome those pesky language learning problems so that you can focus on what you enjoy learning. I believe that language learning should be enjoyable and inspiring. So, this is my story. I did not always enjoy learning languages myself. It felt too much like work and not like something that could be fun. Only later did I find out that there is a better way. It's been an exciting journey for me. I learned English and French in school because I had to. I went to class and studied a lot, but I would have never dreamt of learning a language for myself. Never dreamt of just doing it for fun or to improve my value in the workplace. I studied very hard in school. Really, I studied a lot. I memorized all the vocabulary. I learned all the grammar rules, all the declensions, the genders of the words, sentence structure, etc., much like you probably are doing right now. However, when I went to France, I first felt like an idiot. It was hard to get the words out. And even when I got them out, My French teacher told me that I accidentally said something that has a sexual meaning. Oh no. As a teenager, that was my worst nightmare, and I felt so embarrassed. I was afraid of making mistakes. Of course, my teacher didn't mean to, but in that moment, I got punished for my mistake. But when you learn a language, you need the self-esteem to be okay with making many, many mistakes. That's why I am here to help you to not be afraid of mistakes. As someone who used to have very low self-esteem and now has a healthy confidence in himself, I want to show you how you can stop beating yourself up and start believing in yourself. By accident, I found a better way. So things changed when I spent a year in an American high school. People did not criticize my English and accepted me for who I am. I pursued my passions, studied what I wanted to study, and forgot that I was even learning a language. It felt great. I became fluent overnight. Literally, all of a sudden, I started dreaming in English. I had internalized the language on a deep, emotional level. This was the result of reading and listening to a ton of English, of listening to input that I enjoyed and that also helped me to grow in other areas of my life. However, it hasn't always been easy. Well, the problem was, even though I had this experience, I hadn't consciously thought about why I had been so successful with English. So when I started studying Polish, Portuguese, and finally Italian, I made the same old mistakes. I tried to memorize everything and did boring exercises. That's why I gave up on the first two languages and almost gave up on the last as well. Not this time. I'm not letting outdated methods ruin the joy of language learning for me again. This is what I learned. When I discovered the science behind language acquisition, everything made sense and matched my own experience. Yes, you can learn a language intuitively. No, you don't need that much direct grammar learning to converse with a native. Yes, you should enjoy every second of it. It's even been proven to help. So what's happening now? Well, now I am progressing faster than ever, and I find myself actually having a lot of fun. I focus on studying what I enjoy. I grow and improve every day. I run marathons, read an insane amount of self-improvement books, and experiment with various productivity tools. I gain valuable insights that I'd love to share with you. How to jumpstart your German. I want to help you to get the same results I'm getting. The first step is simple. Go to authenticgermanlearning.com episode 0. Once you are there, you probably want to do the following things. Subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode. Join the newsletter. My emails are quite popular. I would be very, 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 very grateful if you could leave a rating and a review. It would really help me out. You would be doing me a massive favor. Thanks. Finally, this podcast and most of what I do, I give away for free. It takes a lot of work to produce podcast episodes and videos. So please, especially if you have been consuming my content for a while, also click the donation link at the top of the post. If we've just met and you have never heard of me before, you just found this podcast on iTunes and this is the first episode you're listening to, then don't worry about it. Like, we've just met, like, and I wouldn't ask you to donate if this is the very first thing you hear from me. But if you've listened to many episodes, or you've watched me on YouTube, or consumed any other of my free language learning materials, then I would really, really like it if you could leave a donation, because like it really takes a lot of time for me and a lot of money. So all the language materials I give to you freely, it's free for you. It's, or like as we say in German, kostenlos, like without cost for you, but with a lot of cost for me. So please keep that in mind. And I want you to feel free to use however much you want without guilt. Like, I don't want to guilt you into a donation, but I know that there's a lot of people who I've already helped, and it'd be really, really good if you could have a small donation. So I just want you to keep in mind that it costs me much time and money to produce this. Yeah, like I said, no guilt. And to give you a little bit more background about me, like, I started this 2 years ago. I started Authentic German Learning 2 years ago, and I made over 400 videos on YouTube. You can search YouTube for Authentic German Learning, and please subscribe. And I invested 20,000 euros of my own money that I have saved up since childhood. And I worked full time for over 2 years. And now I've even moved to a country with lower living costs so that I can invest more in this project. And now I am also making this podcast, right? So I lived almost my whole life in Berlin, but I always wanted to see the world. I wanted to experience other cultures. So right now, as I'm recording this, I'm living in Vietnam. I'm probably gonna head to Thailand in 2 months, and I'm gonna see other countries as well, which is exciting for me, of course. But it's also like I also made the decision. I don't want to make it seem like it's the only reason, but like one of the reasons I did this, one of the reasons why I'm living in Vietnam, why I will soon live in Thailand and visit other countries in that area, is because they have much lower living costs. Okay, I was paying a lot for rent and food and health insurance in Germany, and I decided to really cut back. Like, even with like flight costs and everything, it's still like only a fraction of the cost. So like, if you want to have like a tip for how to have a really great lifestyle, be a perpetual traveler like me. But like, I also want to tell you, like, I did this in order to invest more in authentic German learning, in order to help more German learners. So if that is also a vision that you like, if you also want to see more people learn German with this method, then yeah, that's why I put the donation pitch in there, because like it really, really, really helped me if you could give me like, I don't know, $5 a month or something like that, right? Or $10 a month, and then you can even join my academy, right? So that being said, authenticgermanlearning.com/donate. And let's continue with the rest of the episode. I'm going to tell you the structure now, the structure of this podcast. There are several types of episodes tagged #Thema, about a specific topic, #Vokabel, about a word, #Sprichwort, about a saying, #Redewendung, about an idiom, and interview for an interview. At the end of some topic episodes, I will play a German song. I play it at the end so you can skip it if you don't like it. You are free to suggest songs, but I can only play songs that are in the public domain or Creative Commons. Unfortunately, I cannot play songs from the charts or oldies because I am not allowed to. 24 to 36 episodes are one season, like a TV series. Every season has an overarching theme. Season 1 will be about the language learning method that we use. I haven't decided on season 2 yet. I think it's going to be about personal development books. I will publish episodes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I try not to make the podcasts too long and try to keep them at about 10 minutes. That's it for today, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to say at the end of each episode. So I'm going to say, that's it for today, and then I'm going to say, I'm Marco, your German teacher and fellow student of life. And then I'm going to say some value that I think is important. With X, you will master the German language. So instead of X, I'll put some value that I think is important when learning a language. So let's say diligence. I think diligence is very important. In German would say Fleiß, ja. Mit Fleiß wirst du die deutsche Sprache meistern. That means with diligence, you will master the German language. And then I'm going to say, I am firmly convinced that you can learn German. You can do it. I'm sure. So I'm saying that to really reinforce that idea that you really can learn German. It's very important to really realize that hey, it's possible. It's really possible for you. And then I'm gonna say until next time, and if it's a topic episode, I'll tell you what the next topic episode will be about. And then you're gonna hear the outro music, and then you're gonna hear a nice lady asking you to do certain things, and I would love it if you could do those things. Let's do that right now. Let's play it out like we usually do. Okay, you're now gonna hear the outro music and then that nice lady. So, and I'm saying goodbye. See you soon. Bye bye. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Authentic German Learning Podcast. Please subscribe to get more awesome episodes. If you like the podcast and haven't done so yet, please leave a rating or review on iTunes. Ratings and reviews are the best way to spread the word about the show and to help other people find out if this is the right podcast for them. Go to authenticgermanlearning.com/free to learn how you can learn German while having the time of your life. You'll never want to stop. That's authenticgermanlearning.com/free.